Well, you missed it. I forgot to turn the camera on. I cranked it over, but the problem is I've got fuel leaking out the top of the tank, and I didn't realise. Yeah, I've got to fix that. Because it's got air in the line, but obviously the pump switching off. It does crank over. It's not going to go anywhere without any fuel. So let's see if I can fix that leak. So I've got a fuel problem. It's not getting up here. Now the pump's not switching on. You know, it's going to start. It's going to start if I get fuel up to it, because it had that boom. I wonder why it won't go. I wonder what's wrong. I wonder if it's blown the fuse for the fuel pump. How would I tell? Can't even remember which bloody fuse it was. It's got to go. I know it's got to go. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Somewhat strange. I don't know where it is. Why isn't it turning the fuel pump on? Seemed that before we had the pump running, but that might be because it was leaking. The relay's working. Do you know, it's going to go. It's going to go. But why isn't it pumping? Why is there no fuel? Let's crank it a bit more. It's very strange. It just seems as if the pump stopped working. I might have to check the power to the pump. Something's not right. Why won't it get power? And before we were getting air up here. Now we're getting nothing. Getting nothing in the fuel line. Yeah. Give it another go. No fuel. I'll have to get get to the bottom of this and see why there's no fuel. I knocked the ground off. I knocked the ground off the tank, so I'm going to make that a permanent ground. That was a quick fix. Right, let's now see if we get fuel. Up here. Yes! We have petrol! We have petrol. Let's give this a go. Will it fire up? It's alive! And you heard it, that's how it was. Now, it doesn't run very well and I've got no coolant in it. Excellent. Now, there'll be one or two things to figure out, but I want you to, sorry about that. There'll be one or two things I want you to see, but it sounds smooth, isn't it? Let's try it again. Like a kid at Christmas now. Is sweet as a nut, but I think it's not got enough fuel. I think the rover pump's not good enough. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Definitely the pump, and as you can see from the shop, very little smoke. Now, obviously I've been going through a bit of a bad patch at the moment with this business, but this has really cheered me up. I think what I'm going to do now is, I think the pump on this had to be nearly 100 psi, and it isn't. It'll build up pressure, it'll build up fuel volume, but as soon as it starts it can't keep up, and I think that's its problem. So what I'm going to do is probably go and buy a 100 psi fuel pump, because I don't think these rover pumps run up to that much. I'll keep practicing and I'll get back to you. I've rigged up a fuel pressure line, a pressure tester on here, because I can't find anything to go on the Schreider valve whilst I'm cranking. So I've got that set up and that seems to be okay. It was leaking a bit. I need to put some tape around here, but I think we'll get the idea. So I'm just going to crank the engine. I hope that you can see. So that's the ignition on. We've got up to what? 10 psi. Well, watch what happens when we crank it. See, it gets to 25 pounds and then cuts out, because it should be up here. It should be running at about 55. So that's the reason why. So, little update, I'll be getting a pump on Friday from Mr. Amazon. Yes, he's going to bring me a pump. The reason for that was why I'll wait a little bit. 97 for an AirTech, 97 Canadian dollars for an AirTech pump, which is made in the States. Or from our local supplier, one made by Spectra Premium, $321. So we'll take a chance on this AirTech one, because it's gonna, I can bolt it onto the back of that beam there. It's a nice big old pump. So we'll run one into the other, if you see what I mean. So we'll keep the one in the tank as a sort of a primer, and then that'll prime that. So we'll just run them off the same way. Oh, it should work. If it doesn't, well, it'll just catch on fire. Right, now that was the reason why we're not getting any fuel.
It's looking good, it's looking good, it's looking good, it's looking good, it's looking good.